good. Stuff worked this morning. That's fantastic. Sometimes it doesn't. Today it does. Hey, I'm Phil Kearney. I create role-playing games. I illustrate them and I publish them online, and we are creating content for Dungeons & Dragons 5th edition. We're making an adventure in the Eberron campaign setting using the new 2024 rules. I'm grabbing the link to my video so I can post it on the social medias, so maybe you hear about it that way. But if you want to skip ahead because you know what's going on, go ahead and skip ahead a minute and I'll be done. But yeah, we're creating an adventure for Eberron. I've been a DM for since 1987, and I've been an Eberron enthusiast since around 2004, and I've been creating content on the DMsGuild since around 2018. But I haven't published any official adventures yet, like quote-unquote official. I've never officially created an adventure for DMsGuild, nor have I created any content for Eberron. So I'm making an adventure for Eberron, and you can see the book cover here. It's called Crystals of Mabar. It's for 7th, 8th level characters. We're fighting undead demons and necromancers in the Carnwood of Karnath on the continent of Corvair. And if you know Eberron, you know what I mean. Otherwise, you can wait until the adventure comes out because everything that I publish has a 100% free preview. So I've finished with my intro. I can now get into the artwork. Let's see. If you find today fun, like, subscribe. New subscribers, like, subscribe. Hit the bell icon for notifications. And here's a bunch of books I've already published on the DMsGuild. They all have free previews, so you can check out my artwork and my ideas there. And if you want to support and purchase, God bless you. And I also have the Discord server down below. Let's get this book cover out of the way. We're working on little vignettes right now. So the book is done. All the mapping is done. All the tokens are done. The layouts are done. All the art is in place. But we have these little blots in here that if I don't have something there, it looks barren, right? That looks incomplete. Let's zoom in. Is that 16:9 format so that it fits on a typical digital device. Since it's a PDF only, I don't print my work. That's a lot more headache and effort, and quite frankly, I don't see color, so color proofing is really difficult for me. So instead, here, let's push that out. See, that's a big blank space. I could do something with that space. That space needs something. So we're over here. We're talking about glyphs of warding, adding in magical defense measures throughout the final dungeon where the bosses are at. So, and when you encounter one of the main bosses, Karen the Enchantress, she's in the process of making glyphs of warding scrolls. So. Yeah, so a little illustration about a glyph of warding being put onto a scroll, and you can see here it's incomplete. The next thing I need to do is add an inkwell here and a texture for the table, which we're going to use a wooden crate, which is what she's using, and then some background darkness just to flesh it out. So, having said all that, welcome to the mix, guys. We're going to get started on that action. Let's see, it looks like everything's aligned, so I can push this down. Here's our page. We just finished the book and scroll. The book isn't actually done yet, sorry, the scroll's done. The book needs page traces along the interior here of the page. So we need to add that in, and again, texture, and I'm seeing a foreign element that is outlying here. I need to eliminate that. So let's go find it real quick. It's you. Let's get that back in place here. Just doing some spot. This is really minuscule detail. I know that's my crux. Sometimes I fall into a piece and just want to get the details right when I don't need to. But that's the charm of not being on a timeline. here. Drop that in. Good. On lunchtime this week, yesterday and Saturday last week, we began our process of creating revising the 5-color mana spell point system for D&D. And right now we're streaming at lunchtime, going through the magic list, the list of spells, and re-evaluating the colors that each spell should be devoted to. And hey, good morning, Fox. So far, so good. This is taking more time than I expected, but I was just explaining that's art. That's art, baby. Oh, fuck my life. This thing will be done, and then we'll tackle the next ridiculous project. So yeah, I'm really looking forward to updating the color magic and just getting that into place. I'm also incredibly excited about the Bastion campaign. That those two, that's like 7 books right there, or 5 books. But those are the things I want to tackle next. Let's go grab a color reference here. This is from Ader Academy. I'm just stealing book color, the same book color and quill and stuff like that from before. It's easy. The color references are here. I like the wood grain, so we're gonna do a wooden crate so we can put more wood grain down. I love doing these wood grain effects. They're super fun. Super fun to do. All right, let's see if I can get this right. First try. Bring this down to Paperathene. Not enough of a difference. So, but we have the color, so I'm going to spike this one to here. And I'm going to drop this one to here. That should do. Why are you not working? Thank you. No, seriously, what is going on with that? There we go. Okay, cool. I'm going to have to really punch up. Yeah, that's not enough. Oh, well, I mean, I guess that explains a lot. Hold on, what the fuck is going on? Nothing there. I'm lost in my layers. Right, we don't need that anymore. Where is our trash can? Trash. I'm having a rough start. Sorry, guys. Nothing there. Okay, this is where I'm supposed to be. I was apparently on the wrong layer. I can obviously see that. Let's go back to this page color and see how that pans out. Not bad. Yeah, okay. Back on track. Just doing some whiskers right now. We're going to pull these with a smudge tool to blend them out. And then on a separate layer, we're going to put dark whiskers. And if everything goes well, we'll be able to have a loose page effect. Boy, oh boy, I'm ready for this baby to be birthed, you know? Okay, so let's take it one step at a time. We'll grab the white pages. We're going to make a duplicate of them. And now we're going to grab our smudge tool. I'm going to use the guitar pick smudge tool. I'm going to go to, let's say 50%. And let's see if I can make this work. needs more whiskers. That one's too close. There we go. Nope. Nope. There. There. Okay, there we go. Yeah, that's turning out pretty nicely. Duplicate the darker layer. There we go. Yeah, that's turning out. That's not bad. And then we're going to get back over here to the edges. Here with the white bits. And once we finish this page layering, we'll get to the inkwell. I don't need to worry about off the edge. I do want to add go. Gotta get that angle. Here. Nope, that's off mark. That's better. There. I feel like I want to cut these free. Cut them free again. All right, I'm on point. Let's go like this. And then here. That looks okay. It's a start, so we'll have to do another layer of that. No. Unlink layers. Instead, let's merge layers down. Thank you. We'll go here, cut, paste. Cut, paste. Grab out to our edges.
Thank you, Silent Timer.
And then the interiors, pull the interior. Oh yeah, wrong layer. Come on, buddy. Adobe really wants me to download Photoshop 2025, and I am not interested yet. But they keep pushing it. Let's put this underneath. I think that feels a little bit better. Yeah, there we go. See, I don't think I need to really do anything more than that. That's decent. Creates a page texture without me having to really worry about defining anything too heavily. It's just a simple smudging technique. Hey, what's going on, Defected? So more definition at the spine, more definition at the tips, and then just blend in along the way. And it makes for an easy, cheap page texture. Let's rinse and repeat. There we go. What if the top page was off book a tad and created some ambient shadow underneath? I hear what you're saying. What a brat. Such a brat. Because it's a good idea. Let's fix that. There we go. That felt really good. Because it's a good idea. That is, okay, so I think that process right there is the regret that we feel when we look at old work that we don't think holds up to our level of quality right now. Because when we look at the piece, we can immediately go, I could have done this, I can do this better, I could do this, that's blank. Like as your skill as an illustrator increases, your sense of filling space and composition improves alongside the natural skill set that you're attaining by being able to eye-hand coordinate and analyze shape and all the blah, 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 blah. Composition just naturally comes along with it. Because suddenly it's like that pose seems rigid. Instead of I'm proud of how I rendered the details on that armor, now it's like, that armor feels a little, I could do better on the materials. Or I like the armor, but I think his pose could be more aggressive. So that's getting into composition instead of technique. Composition evolves from technique. As you get good at one skill, you start to naturally notice the shortcomings you have in the other skills that are in orbit around what you're currently doing. And so when I look at a piece, it's always, it's usually this composition could have been stronger. Or I didn't know how to render pages back then, so they all look a kind of shoeboxy. So when you look at a piece that you don't like, that you had done in the past, that's actually a celebration because you are realizing in real time that you're better than you were when you did that. You are objectively better than you were before because now you can see the flaws that you would not have let fly if you had done the original composition the way that you had wanted, like the way that you could now. It would look different because it'd be better composed, with better detail, better everything. That's a good reason not to make sure that you preserve your old work. And you can update, you can quote unquote redo and update work if you want to, but don't lose track of what you've done because you need that to give yourself a permission slip to praise yourself and to work on your imposter syndrome. No, that is appropriate. What's up?
It's just the third thing is I saw when it popped in my head. It was I would.
Yeah, it adds some depth and dimensionality to it. The same word basically, but yeah, it adds a little bit of lived in, so that again, it's by adding in a detail like that, and you're absolutely right. It's obvious, right? It's like it's an obvious image trope that is familiar to our eyes. So that's why you can blip those things in. I need to darken that a bit. Very good. Smudge that out. One of the improvements in my skill is to recognize when smudge or paint over is the appropriate spot fix. A lot of times I just default to smudge because I like smudging. It's fun. I like the tactile sensation of like pushing the pixels like finger paint. It's I don't know. It's somehow it's soothing for me. It's like petting. It's like I'm petting a cat, but it's my pixel board. So it's not quite the same. But I think that's the sensation. I think it's a soothing sensation for me to this petting motion that I do with my pen when I'm smudging like that. I think that's where it comes from. But paint over may often be a more efficient process. Or not. In this instance, I shall go with smudge. But those little spot lines, that's another skill set that I can develop. Like being able to go over here to the opacity board and hit 50 or 100%, like on the mark, 100, and then that's 53. There we go, 50. Like being able to just look at it and like be able to hit the exact spot on 1 out of 100. Like that's a skill set that you develop. Kind of like being able to just toss 3-pointers in basketball. For those that don't know what shooting a 3-pointer would be. Let's go with instead a masking layer like that. Leave that behind. There. Pinch darker. There. Yeah. I think that works. Hey, Gabby. Yeah. We're gonna let that be for now. I think I'm content with that. Sorry. I'm gonna add a little shock along the edge here. Thank you. That's where I want to be. There. Just helps to find that space just a little bit more. And because I can't let it go, curse you, Death. There. Now it's starting to feel pretty good. I'm content with that. Good call, Death. Curse you, Death. Let's fold all this up and push it down into the book. And now we can start on our inkwell. Let's go to darkness and redness and blackness. I need an inkwell. Let's go to inkwell. That's about the perspective that I want. I'm just going to gank this real quick for color reference, and it has the feather with it too, so copy image. Antiqued brass historical inkwell. Quills not included. Hey, cool. This is a real thing. Hold on. That kind of fits the perspective. Here, let's make a model out of this. Let's teach everybody that that copying and tracing isn't evil for book production. That feels just about perfect right there. So I think we'll leave the quill in, but it's going to end up blipping away from the piece. Because this is our cutoff here. So I can probably lay the feather down. It wouldn't make sense though if you're not holding it. It's gonna be in the inkwell. Otherwise, no, that's not true. It could just be. I could have I could have it down here somewhere. That wouldn't be a bad idea. But we'll put the inkwell there. Maybe we'll put like a stopper in it or something. We'll figure it out. We'll let the inspiration carry us away. There. All right, cool. Got that. Reference. REF. In this instance, we're going to drop down our opacity really low. This is for all those art people out there that ask themselves, is it okay to trace? And I say, when it's a technical piece like this, if you need to, hell yeah, do it.
Is this the same book, or is this the same book the old one is reading?
No, it's not. It's this is the spell book that the main villain has. She spends her time making scrolls of glyphs of warding. You can cast a spell from a scroll as a magic action. So you could cast, if you have glyphs of warding in a scroll, you can cast glyph of warding and then dump a spell into it as a magic action. It's a good way for you to throw down a trap. Like anyone that comes within 10 feet of this gets hit with a 5th level hold person spell. That's going to spam out 4 of you soldiers here that are chasing us. So if I have that loaded into a scroll, magic action, throw it down. Everyone has to make a saving throw. That's not me on my retreat. A rogue can use that as a bonus action. So spell glyph scrolls become spell traps, become basically spell grenades that you can drop on people as well, as a magic action, or however quickly you can utilize a magic item. And they're one shot, so they're expensive as hell to do. But at high levels, that's some good juice. It doesn't have to be a scroll per se. You could inscribe like a grenade, like a Fabergé egg. You can inscribe the scroll around the outside of a Fabergé egg, and then when you're ready to use it, blam! It blows up like a ninja like a ninja egg, and unleashes the magic. That's some spell thief sort of shit to do there. I can hear myself too much. There, that should be better. No. Oh, wait a second. No, I think you're right. I might be mistaken there. I don't recall offhand. If anyone can, I'm not a big. I haven't been using scrolls a lot in the past year, so I don't recall. Let's ask. Let's ask the internet that's slowly destroying our lives. 5E24. Who can use a wizard spell scroll? No. Used by any character who has that specific spell on their class's spell list. The user must be able to read and understand the script, and the spell must be on their list to cast it. If the spell is higher level than they cast, then it requires an ability check. Who can? Arcane tricksters, wizards, multi-class characters, thief-rooks. Has to know, and the spell must be on their list to cast it. So a first level dip into wizard, and then thief rogue would allow you to take expertise in Arcana when you're making your spellcasting check. It would be a DC 13 for the spell scroll, or higher depending on what spell you load into the scroll. And then the spell thief could. So, no, but it's easy to get to if you're willing to burn the multi-class level for it. But for a thief, for a rogue thief, that's arguably a good deal. Tracing this like this, it is honorable because I am utilizing a real object and I don't have to eyeball everything. You don't have to be able to just think of a thing to be able to draw it. You are allowed to reference. And in production work like this, I've flat out had art directors say, here's the hand pose I want you to include with this character that you're doing. Trace it. That way you can get it right. And then render it in a way that is matching to your style so it doesn't look wrong. And like, that's the best piece of advice I'd ever gotten from an art director. Wait, we need an edge here. Feels about right. So let's grab that. Copy, paste, retransform. Flip horizontal. Down. About there. Copy, paste, retransform. So I see text. Horizontal. Nice. And it can even be messy up here because the ink is going to dry along the lip of the jar. I'm not going to bother with a lid. I will put a cork down here though. I'll catch up with you in a second down there, chat. Put some stain on around it. Then we'll find a cork color.
Okay, there's a lot of text kicking. I got to catch up with y'all. Do you know how much money that would take in game? Probably about, the amount of money that would take. Let's see. It's a third level. Let's say you go with a fifth level casting of a spell trapped inside of a spell glyph that you can throw down, like hold monster as a grenade if you need to run away from a Tarrasque or something. Who knows? So fifth level spell. So 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. That's third rank. That is a rare magic item. So the cost for scribing that as a temporary magic item in a generic system would be 2,000 gold. That's expensive. But if you were an artificer, it would only be 1,000 gold. If you were a cartographer. I think cartographer can do scrolls. It would only, for a third level spell, it would only be 200 gold. If you were it'd be 200 gold for anybody, and it would only be 100 gold for an artificer cartographer. That feels pretty good. Let's grab our reference again. Let's push it back to full so we can get our color reference underneath there. Well, that's fun. I like that. It can't be less than third because Glyph of Warding itself is a third level spell. But as a temporary, so it's 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. It's 100 gold, 400 gold, 4,000 gold, 40,000 gold, 200,000 gold for a permanent magic item. For consumable items, it's 50, 200, 2,000, 20,000, 100,000. And then if you're an artificer that's specialized in that stuff, then it's halved again, 25, 50, 500, 25, 100, 1,000, 10,000, 50,000. Or if you're using the Bastion system, if you have a scriptorium of 9th level, they can create magic items for you, and it doesn't cost any money, but you only get one per order. And it would take them as a 3rd rank item. It would take them if you have an artificer, then it would be it would be 1 week. Without an artificer, it's 4 bastion turns or a month to get the scroll for free. So you don't get it immediately. It's just it takes time to get it. If you want to create the item yourself and spend money on it, you can to participate as a player to increase the chance of successfully creating the magic item. To guaranteed time served when your character's involved. But to delegate it to NPCs that are, and then you say spend 3 months between the next adventure, that gives you 12 bastion turns, 13 bastion turns. And as long as you make all your checks, your NPCs can create 13 spell scrolls for you with 3rd level spells loaded into them. With up to 5th level spells loaded into them. If it's only a 3rd level spell or less, it would only be an uncommon magic item, and that would only take a week for your for a bastion. So you can make one a week for free if you have a scriptorum of 2nd rank. But there's a skill check that goes along with it, and if the skill check fails, then it creates a complication, and you don't get your scroll until you resolve the complication. So asking for magic items for free generates adventure hooks and has a slow drip. Plus, you have to get the scrolls. You don't. You can just make scrolls, and that's fine. For actual permanent magic items, you have to get a formula. You have to research the formula, and then you have to harvest the materials needed to make the magic item, which is resolved automatically if you're in a settlement that can provide any. For you to make an uncommon magic item, which is 2nd rank, you would need to be you either need access to 2nd rank materials through a trade order or a specific character obtainment through a fetch adventure, or you're in a settlement that provides 2nd rank materials. Then it's assumed that it has materials of quality enough to be able to make an uncommon magic item without having to go look for anything specifically. So you have to establish the materials in your settlement, or through a trade line, or through personal purchases. You need the formula to make the magic item, which can be done by the research action, either performed by NPCs in an archive, or an archive or arcane study, or it can be traded and obtained that way through item procurement through the trade order. But you have to research that, which is an ability check, and if that ability check fails, it creates a complication that has to be resolved, which could, again, be another adventure hook if you wanted to make that happen. So you potentially have 2 or 3 bastion turns to be able to create the item. 2, if you're able to research and obtain the material the first week, and then the following week you actually craft the item. DC is 15 in all instances for an uncommon magic item, DC 20 for a rare magic item, and if you succeed all the checks, then 2 weeks You only need to research it once, so once you have it, you can make them, and then you can turn them out 1 week at a time. But each magic item requires an order, which requires a bastion point. You only have so many, and it's difficult to stockpile them, so you can just make shitloads of magic items. It doesn't work that way. So there's a pacing that goes along with it, but the scale of magic items that your characters can produce for themselves is slower paced than the adventures that they're going to want to use them on, and it potentially generates adventures to get them in the first place. So it's not overwhelming on the system. Let's go with that. I'm going to switch to the guitar pick. What's up?
I'm missing text. My experience, magic items are mostly dependent on the magic item will.
Yeah, so that's what the formula are for. You can, like with this system, you can make any magic item that the DM will allow you to get the formula for. The generic system is anything is available. Here's the DC to do it. Here's the time needed. Here you go. But you have to have the DM's permission to actually do it. If you're doing a solo game, like just running bastions to generate adventures that you can then ability check through to do your own sort of solo play, then you have the right to equip your characters with any kind of magic items or produce anything that you want. But yeah, that caveat of with DM's permission is always there. But the system that I'm describing is it's just a universal crafting system that has reasonable times and reasonable risk to obtain during the course of an actual campaign. Like at 9th level, I'd be fine with everyone having a broomstick if they wanted a broomstick. But broomsticks, I think, are uncommon magic items. I wouldn't give you those at 5th level. But by 9th level, I'd let you have them. That's a good conversation point, though. I'll need to make sure I draw specific attention to that when we build the book. Macon Inkwell. Yeah, so far so good, so what? What's up, Text? It depends. I don't know. It depends.
Barely had a +1. You mean you never ever liked the idea of sending stone before potions, but other magic items? I want to catch up with you guys. In my experience, magic items are mostly dependent on DM's will to break his own game. Right, exactly. Had potions, but other magic items that then only a couple of them I can think of them. I mean, you never even had any sending stone before 6th level. I haven't. I barely had a +1. Right on. At level 6. I had a Pearl of Power at level 8. I think I'm gonna get. And the Pearl of Power gives you a +1 to your DC, right? But many new magic items, except maybe potions.
Right on. It was a dagger at level 8. Jesus. Yeah, I'm as a DM. I don't traditionally as a DM during a long form campaign. I don't hand out a lot of magic items because I basically, if I find a character is lacking in utility, that's a good excuse to put some sort of magic items in their hand to just give them more flexibility and use to the party. That's ideally what magic items are for in the first place. Therefore, keeping your characters in pace with each other for combat, like damage dealing and tactical options, and out of game to have breadth of utility. Like wizards don't need a lot of magic items, but traditionally marshals do, because wizards, full casters, they already have a huge resource and the spell list to give them flexibility and utility. It's the marshals that need like the figurine of wondrous power or the Qual's feather token. The utility items, like I can throw this down and I can grow a tree in a heartbeat, or I can make a boat out of nothing. Like these are useful things for a non-caster. What the casters need is more mana, more resources. So scrolls, spell books. I like Mox crystals for extra mana in their mana pool. That's the type of stuff I like to hand. That's the type of stuff I like to hand off to full casters. But having converted everybody into a mana system, all 14 classes, Mox crystals that provide extra mana is useful to everybody, and providing and in the Martial Powers Mega Dungeon campaign that we play tested a couple months back, from level 3 to 10. It was fun to create a bunch of in third edition, the Scion for the Psionicis and stuff like that they created. They created Power Stones because Scions and the Psychic Warrior, etc., the Eidolon, they all used a mana pool for their psychic psi points. It was a spell point system. And instead of getting spell scrolls with castings of the spell on it, they would get Power Stones, which held psionic powers in them. It's like, while I'm holding this stone, I can spend mana to cast this spell through the stone. As long as I keep pushing mana into it, I can keep pushing spells. So what that does, having that magic item available and converting all classes to a mana system, you can hand a Power Stone to anybody. It's like, hey, here, use this, pump 3 mana through it, and it'll do a fireball. Ka-chunk, ka-chunk, ka-chunk. You can mount it on your shoulder like the Predator, and now you have a fireball shoulder mount that you spend 3 mana, you can pop off. You can pop off a fireball. And like for a half caster or a martial character, you can do that at level 9 for a basic fireball. If you wanted to spend 3 mana, and at 9th level you'd have 9. So like you can do 3 of those and then you're completely cashed, or you can do the martial stuff that in the normal casting that you could do. So converting things to spend spell points to use this, all that effectively does is it just broadens the number of spells that they have prepared, and introducing interesting features like we had a what was it? I think it was a Vicious Glaive that had the Sentinel feat built into it. So while you use this glaive, you automatically had the Sentinel feat, and it had I think repositioning strike built into it. So for each point of mana, when you hit somebody with it, it would deal an extra die of damage, and you can move without provoking opportunity attacks as part of the attack action. You can move 10 feet per point of mana. So if I wanted to, like if I was a 5th level fighter, I'd have the ability to spend 2 mana. I could make 2 attacks. I can hit with a repositioning strike, spend 2 mana on it, deal an extra 2d6 damage when I hit, and then move 10 feet to the next target that's within range to hit him. And if I wanted to spend another 2 points of mana, I could do that. But at 5th level, I only have 5 mana. So it's expensive to do that, but it's also not infinitely free. So actually a vicious weapon provides 2 free points of mana for you to perform the steps. So you do 2d6 damage for free and then move, and then you can do another 2d6 damage for free and move, and you could pump it up with your own mana beyond the free plus 2d6 that you get. Like a 9th level fighter has a max limit of 3, so it can do 3 dice. The vicious weapon gives you 2 dice for free, and if you want to hit your cap of 3, you have to spend an extra point of mana to cap out with your 3 dice. And at 9th level, it would be 3 8-sided dice, not 6-sided dice. So the whole system ramps as you go along, and you can get items that can like partially pay for things for you, or make you pay the entire cost, or like if it's a high enough magic item, it'll pay for the thing for free. Because like at 13th level, when you're getting very rare magic items, vicious weapon that will do 3 mana instead of 2 might make sense for the pacing of your campaign. But that tool of having those 3 different gears that a magic item can operate in makes handing out magic items better. Like initially, this might be an item that gives you a 3rd level something, and at 5th level when you get it, it's just an extra spell on your spell book. It's going to cost you 3 mana to cast it. But say at 9th level, it'll pay for 1 of the points of mana. So now using that magic item to cast your 3rd level, that specific 3rd level spell only costs you 2 mana, not 3. And at 13th level, it only costs you 1 mana to use it instead of 3. And you can ramp it up to 5th level for an extra 2 mana, so a total spend of 3 mana instead of 5. So it's allowing you to upscale magic easier or to spam it easier by paying for the spell point cost. And then, like, at legendary item, you could upgrade the item again so that you now using that 3rd level spell is free, but your 17th level, you could have, like, made this your signature spell as a wizard if you wanted to, so it's not actually out of balance. You see how that works? So that's a really, I really recommend. Obviously, I'm going to recommend it because it's my own work. But that approach to magic items allows you to introduce stuff, but the players have to use their resources to get access to it. It's a really good way. It's basically a permanent scroll that you can put the hands in anybody. And since everybody can use mana, you can decide, does this require attunement or not? Because it's a stored item, it's not like a scroll per se. You can just decide anyone that has this item can cast Fireball if you can spend 3 mana. And half casters and marshals can't spend 3 mana until 9th level. At that point, lobbing a Fireball for 3 mana, not unreasonable. It's expensive, but they can do it. That's effectively like a lightning arrow off of a ranger. And you make a shot, you spend 3 mana. That direction turns into a lightning bolt. Cheers. Anyway, I'm rambling. I'm rambling because I can. It's 7:21. I've got 30 minutes left on the mic. I'm not a very good DM regardless of what that plays with me says. Oh, Gabby. Oh, man. Where would you put your ability to design a battle based on characters' levels in CR on a scale of 1 to... This sounds like a reference question. Healing potions are mostly but rarely anything more. I'm scared of busting my game to give anything more exotic except maybe just an alchemy jug. Fair enough. Very good DM regardless. 4, I'm not that very good at it, but I really rarely get past level 7. Well, if you build your campaigns to stay lower level, it's much easier to balance the game. And there's absolutely no reason why you can't say, hey, this is going to be a campaign that's specifically running from level 1 to 5. And then whatever happens from that, let's start a new campaign with new characters built on the back of what we did there. For example, like that's a way you could pace a campaign. You can run 5 campaigns from level 1 to 5 in the same amount of time as you can run 1 campaign from level 1 to 20. So doing shorter form campaigns is reasonable. And if you pace it that way, if your campaigns normally, like, for whatever reason putter out or crash out by 7th level, by designing it to end after 5 levels, you're creating a tighter arc, more of a one-shot, theme-focused sort of campaign that has a specific goal that you're a lot more likely to be able to complete instead of seeing a campaign just end at 7th level. Maybe you already do this, but for people that are out there that might be hearing this somewhere, that might be something that they hadn't considered that they could do to have things, have that satisfying emotional conclusion without overburdening you to push into too long or too high of a level campaign. Because we don't know these things until we know these things, and people that do know these things should talk about these things so other people can know too. Hence the conversation. I'm going to highlight this with some white or off-white so that it pops more shiny, and that'll overlay on top of the black line art that we have. But for the most part, I'm pretty happy with how this is turning out. We'll need the highlights to help define its form a little bit more. It's a little muddled at this scale. It reads for what it's supposed to be, but again, we want to do better. So. Like they say in chess, when you have mate in 1, look for something better.
Brush that in. My opinion, players will generally know if the item is OP at the current level. If you, as the DM, have a conversation with them, you could probably come up with a decent conclusion on how to handle it. Whether that means them giving back somehow for a little reward. Obviously, it's just scaling back the use of it. Yeah. Like putting on
if it's an at-use item, instead like make it so that you can use it once per short rest. Or like I said, my solution, of course, was to give every character a mana pool to operate with and then charge them for using it. It's either going to cast this or you're going to cast Web. Which one do you want? Because they both cost the same. But I mean, it might not be that convenient for most DMs to, completely rebuild character classes to incorporate that idea. I just recommend it. And that's why I did all the work. You can just use my classes. Pitch. Pitch. All the Martial Powers book, updating the color mana system, the kaiju and constructs, the Bastion system. These are all tools I want to be able to put into people's hands so that they can use them to have these sort of solutions available to them. I just can't do them all at the same time, and it's absolutely just killing me. I've spent the last 4 years in the process of making this adventure, accumulating all of this advanced 5e tech. And now I'm in this incredible bottleneck of production time to be able to make it available for people. And it is crushing my soul. Absolutely crushing my soul. It'll probably be the end of 2027 before I have all of it done. But that was roughly the timeline that we had predicted to transfer over to doing Patreon stuff, like build all these things and then move over to Patreon and expand on it and offer them as just little standalone PDFs, and then have all the core books on DMsGuild for people to discover and, to make a purchase, and then they can swing over to my Discord. And if they really want to deep dive into more content that's iterated more quickly, I'll start shifting into what can I do on a monthly basis. Like, can I put out a PDF every month about something that we've done before, and let that run for a while until the next big thing starts to accumulate in my heart, and then we'll punch that out. I like how this is looking, man. I am liking this a lot. Let's go back to our references here. Thank you. Now we go to here. Let's hit save real quick. I'm liking the lighting on this a lot. I'm very, very happy with this piece. Yeah. Yeah, this is turning out pretty good. I've got no complaints about this. I love this stuff, man. I love just rendering objects, still life stuff like this is very satisfying. My hard edge and materials, like my organic nature environment, is pretty good. I would say my hard edge and manufactured items is less good. So these are all big victories to me when even little simple objects like this that are like little nothing things, but if I render them well. Again, once we get into like the mecha book, the mecha kaiju book, there's going to be a lot of hardline materials like building mecha, like suits of armor and shit. So I have to get comfortable with more structured manufactured item creation as opposed to environmental stuff to make that book really work. The Bastion campaign book is going to be a lot of structures and, God help me, interior shots of like workshops and laboratories and stuff with like doodads on shelves and shit. It's going to absolutely fucking kill me to do those illustrations. I'm emotionally preparing myself for it. But I know that's what the piece is going to end up demanding, at least to an extent from me. So I'm preparing. I'm girding my heart for that. But that book is going to really push me on being able to do materials. So it'll be a big challenge, but I think I'll be worthy of it. God damn, that feels good. That feels so fucking good. I see text. Hold on. What's up?
It's a change of.
Hey, 40 people in chat. Right on. Yeah, I've started promoting my stuff on specific Reddit channels, like my Eberron stuff on the Eberron channels, Spelljammer stuff on the Spelljammer channels, Bastion, the Bastion Spelljammer campaign that we're building on stream on Mondays and Thursday nights. I post that to both the Eberron and the Spelljammer channels. The Magic the Gathering stuff I've started putting on the Strixhaven, Theros, and Ravnica channels. And again, the books that I build are solutions to questions that as a DM and player I myself ask, hey, what can I do with this XYZ? And when the book doesn't provide answers and the general answer to 5e is, I don't know, make it up. That's like an opportunity for me to pull out my workbench and do that. So yeah, there's been a lot more people showing up to the stream lately, and all I can do is say thank you, everybody. And thanks for pointing that out, Def. I really appreciate it. Yeah, and I think people that do stick around because the answers I provide make sense. So I mean, it's definitely that old school Beck-Me vibe in the 5e game engine is something that for some reason a lot of people don't really seem to talk about or prioritize. Instead, go play another game that's already done it for you. But 5e is such a great game engine. You can literally do anything with the 5e game engine. It's such a well-structured system. And demonstrating that by creating different types of gameplay or different subsystems and stuff, I think demonstrates that truth. And yeah, there you go. Anyway, rattle, rattle, yada, yada. But yeah, we got our hours now. So for us to become a full-time member, we need. We were at 649 subscribers when I started this stream, and we need to get to 1,000 for me to be a real boy. And so if people want to see fairies continue to live, clap your hands and click the subscribe button, and we'll see if we can breathe life back into Tinkerbell or not. There was a cartoon in the 90s. It was called Alf Tales. The Alf sitcom was about an alien that crashed on Earth and was hiding out in the garage of just some random family. And it was so popular, it turned into 2 cartoons. One was just called Alf, which was a prequel to the sitcom of what life was like on Alf's home world before it was destroyed. And that show was funny. It was legitimately a funny show. And then they came out with Alf Tales, and Alf Tales was the cast from the Alf cartoon enacting a fairy tale, whether it was like Rapunzel or like Sleeping Beauty or whatever. They had the different characters from the show playing the different roles and gave it their own shenanigan twist to make it entertaining. And they did one of the episodes they did was Peter Pan, and their dog Gloop was Tinkerbell. It was a big ugly, it was like a mastiff slash pug. Yeah, it was like a pug dog the size of a mastiff. And so it was playing Tinkerbell in the remake cartoon, and at some point Tink got shot by a cannonball and dropped, so he pulled out the the clap-o-meter, and he was encouraged everybody like at a fundraising event to clap their hands and pray for Tinkerbell's survival. Long story short, too late. Okay, I think that's good. I think there's too much over here. So let's thin that down a little bit. There. That looks pretty damn good. I'm happy with that. Render complete and success. So the next thing I want to do is wait. We need to find cork. Wine cork. Drop in here. Where's our line art? There it is. Here. Oh, wait. There we go. And once we get the table texture in place and coloring, then we'll put the drop shadows under the objects. We'll have our background. We have to work the feather quill into the piece, and I think we could probably just do that here. So let's fold this up and call it Inkwell. Nope, something like this though. Uh-oh. What's our time? There. We've got, it's 7:39, so I've got 20-ish minutes. And then I'll go to my day job. I'm going to be back on at lunchtime today, though. Assuming everything goes according to plan, because it is my day job, and I'm going to have to take a lunch break to do this. But I'm working from home today, so if I can, I will. The plan is to, like, around 1:30 Seattle time, minus 8 UTC. That's going to be about, 6.5 hours from now? About 6 hours from now or so. 7 hours, 1:30. It's 7:40 here, 1:30, that's 6 hours. Yeah, 6 hours later. in about 6 hours from now, I'm going to jump on. We're going to finish the second level spell list for the color mana conversion, and if we have time, get into the third level. And then tomorrow we're going to be back on again to complete the third level and hopefully get into fourth level. As I am serious about doing production time for the color mana spell point variant rule updates for 2025. And the first step when we do the revision is color analysis. So we'll be doing that at lunch times when I can and on Saturday mornings, but not this week. I've got family in town this week paying me a visit for a couple days. So I won't be on Thursday night. I won't be on Saturday morning, and there's no playtesting on my Discord this weekend. But next week we'll return to normal. So one of the reasons why I've started this lunch shift is serendipitously coincides with me losing Thursday night production time, which I would have spent on Spelljammer Eberron campaign stuff, but I don't have time to really get deep into any kind of Spelljammer Eberron stuff during lunch. But I can go through a list of magic spells and say blue, red, blue, blue, white, green, black, blah. That's easy enough. So we'll do that. Assuming I can keep my explanation time down. I love talking about this stuff, so I end up talking about it a lot instead of being on a specific task, which is why I like painting in the morning, because I can just ramble about stuff and it actually doesn't interrupt production time, because me talking about something isn't necessarily related to me trying to type something. That's the problem. I can't talk and type different things at the same time. But in painting, I can talk about whatever I want and the pixels still flow. If only there was a way for me to tap into my brain and write without thinking the way that I can paint without thinking. Wouldn't that be a world? I can only imagine what the muse would say through me if given that opportunity. I'm going to put that on my wish list. I don't know how it's going to happen. I don't know if it's possible, but if it can happen and if God wills it, I would like to get into that sort of a flow state where I can literally have a conversation with you guys about one topic and have have the text itself just hammer itself out on screen. That would be fucking crazy, but I would love to be able to do it. I've never heard of anyone being able to do anything. I don't even think it's possible. But if it could be done, I would like to find my way into it. And then just let the universe intuit through me what the rule sets are supposed to be. That would be fucking crazy. Who knows what kind of spew would come off of that page? This says train like 500 times on this page. What's going on? So I was watching What We Do in the Dark last night, and they set up a fake railroad company to help a friend get a job interview. It's funny. Let's grab this. Because the quill gets lighter the further away from the stick, so we're layering in this lighter color on top of it to create that fade effect. There we go. But I will be doing art on tomorrow morning. I'll be doing art Friday morning, and I suspect I'll be doing art Saturday morning. Or I might have some. I think if I do my early routine of getting up at 6 o'clock and streaming before when we playtest, instead of playtesting, I'll go to brunch with my family. So, and then that'll be it for the weekend. I'll be out. But my Saturday morning 6 till 8:45, that routine should remain intact, I believe. I might get side railed depending on what's going on, but I suspect I'll still log in to be able to do my Saturday morning design stream, and we'll probably be like in the 4th, 5th, 6th level. And if we have a 2-hour block of time, we could probably get to 7th level. And then on Monday at lunch, we'll finish off all 10 levels for the spell lists. And then we'll get into the nitty gritty about updating the duration and concentration mechanics. And then class features. We're going to use the same format of the 6x9 format here. I like this format a lot, and since it's a PDF product only, I don't have to conform with easy page printing. But if you wanted to, you could print this out on legal sheets at 11 by 17 pages. It would work. But yeah, I like this format, and I'm going to start using this. I'm going to see what converting the color mana system into this page format is going to feel like. And I also plan on using this for the Bastion campaign book. I like this format. I think it's a lot of fun. We'll see. Let's get back to here, and then next layer, and then here. Let's start doing our feathers. Let's grab a dark color. No, let's grab a mid-tone color. That feels pretty mid. Yeah, that feels right. I like this song a lot. I make fun of it, but I like it. Let's drop our opacity a little bit here. Pretty good. And now we're going to do the same technique on the feather. We're going to use the same technique that we did with the this page edge here. It's the same process for the quill. So let's grab our highlight color here and our shadow color here. Yeah. First, let's brush those out. Smudge those away. like that. And these little wispies that stick out beyond the edge that we had drawn, those are actually good. Those help add the texture to the featheriness. So we'll brush that in like that. That's starting to look pretty organic. And then we're going to put a new layer over it with the highlight feather color. And then we'll carve underneath it to cut away the hard edge lines. There. And now the next layer. Let's start around here. Like that. And let's just go from here. Then a little less down here. Like that. Another layer just to build up some volume. There we go. Strip this down a little bit along here. Like that. And then we'll add another layer for the other side. Like that. Like that. There we go. And now we're going to delete the underpinning. I'm going to use a 40% eraser, a small size. I'm just going to cut into the edges underneath the feathering that we've just done to break up the blockiness of the shape a little bit, but to retain its volume. Like that. And now the smudge brush to push it out. There we go. There, feather. Pretty easy. Quill. I'm going to mask over that so it's concealed. Some shadow work by causing it to blend into the black background, and there we go. Not bad. And when we drop it in the dark background, this feather will pop out more. So let's do that. That's where we're at in the process. That's our next natural step. Oh, what's a good like a dark green will probably be appropriate. Something like that. Let's start there and see where it takes us. I'm going to use the smudge brush here. Blend this in a little bit back. Let's remove the masking layer for now. The blend to win. Well, that was the wrong button. Here. Thank you. There's a green mist that hangs throughout the dungeon where Karen is making these. Oh, I like that. I think that's making it pop nicely. I like that. I'm guessing at the color balance because I mean obviously I don't see color, so that's always a challenge. But the values, the contrast of light and dark. That feels really imbalanced to me. It's making the pages pop, the inkwell pops, the feather is obviously standing out in the background. I think that's really, really good coloring there, or it's a good value. And I know that the green in general is something that we can tolerate because of the poison gas that's permeating the region. So that green vibe is appropriate. That feels really, really good. Okay, my next trick is to bring this down under control. I can do that by grabbing all of this and dropping it down a smidge. I feel like I want to inkwell and feather. There. That feels pretty good. No, I liked where it was at. Let's make that border play with the quill nicely. That feels pretty good. Round off those tips there. Blend that in. There we go.
Hey, later, Phil. Later, Jeff. 4 years.
I know, man. You've been around forever. Appreciate it. Thanks for hanging out with me today. It is about time for me to wrap up. Oh yeah, it's 8 o'clock. It's time for me to kick. All right, that's really good. When we come back, we're going to take care of the crate that this thing is sitting on, and it'll be done. So we're going to finish it tomorrow morning, and we're going to start in on the next piece. And I have no idea what the next piece is going to be, but I'm looking forward to finding out. So if you guys thought this stuff was cool, I'll be back in about 6 hours. To do some color mana spell point variant rules to update the spells in D&D to the color mana paradigm, assigning each spell to one or more colors, and then I'll be back tomorrow morning to finish this illustration. I'll be back at lunch to continue that tomorrow as well. So if you guys want to catch more of this stuff and get involved if you want, like, subscribe, hit the bell icon. I'll see you guys tomorrow, or rather I'll see you later on today and tomorrow. Thanks. Bye bye.